Hey, greetings. Thought it might be helpful to put together a little pre-show before our Peer Ministry Leadership Next Steps Summit, if you would. I appreciate you jumping in and being willing to join us on that day. Your job really is going to be to think, to imagine, to wonder with a group of people, and to help us think of some things maybe outside the boxes that we live in, and get us beyond that a little bit. Who are we? Sometimes I say, my job is to help change the world, be it one person at a time. And I love thinking that way. 3 words that drive us. The first word, relationships. We're all about connections, faith and life connections, if you would. Skills, that's probably the word we're best known for. Giving people repeatable, doable, livable skills. Love, our motivation. We love because Christ first loved us. And so we try to make that difference in the world. In short, we say we are about people helping people. In short, sometimes they say it's a Good Samaritan story, but instead of preaching and teaching it, we put some skills to it. Our programs that we've used to deliver, certainly peer ministry, working a lot with high school youth, campus ministries, middle school, a piece that we call Everyday Samaritan, all in now for adults, because every time we did a training, someone would say, this should be for adults. And so we're doing more and more of that. Family ministry, working with David Lynn, helping people have the experiences of talking about and sharing faith and faith practices in their homes and where they live. And now we're starting to work on children's ministry. And giving upper elementary kids some crucial skills in just living as a friend amongst other people. Our history began with Barbara Varenhorst, right? And people would start peer ministry. She would come to town. We would go and take several days of training from her. Later on, Barbara started working with Irene Strumman in Minneapolis. A group of us started to gather and further train, and then started offering peer ministry trainings in this area, and then traveling out to other areas and teaching groups. That training was normally a 4-day training, and we stuck with that for a long time, just giving facilitators the very best in shaping them. Well, as things changed, right, we had to shorten that, and then we started to realize that people wanted us to work with their youth, work with their adults, and so we would work with a whole group from a single church or maybe 2 or 3 churches. The advantage was it wasn't just one person trying to communicate, but there was a bunch of people that had some of the skills, but we would work with a select few to become the facilitators to continue it and work with it beyond that. COVID, right, hit, and so now we've been doing online Zoom trainings, again, just for facilitators. It has been fascinating that we have been able to reach many more people, and we're finding that they are being successful in doing this. They spend 3 weeks, 2 hours a week with us, and then do a little bit of coaching beyond that. The needs, the needs. I mean, it's great. I think when people hear the word ministry, right, images often come up of feeding the hungry, or standing up for justice, or helping the poor, or working to become more inclusive, certainly to help people discover God's constant flow of love and grace and peace and hope. All good, all needed. However, I think when people think of ministry, they seldom think about just their everyday interactions with family, with neighbors, with friends, with classmates, with people they work with. That seems to be kind of a forgotten area. I have to tell the story again of sitting with a group of kids, right? And I was asking them about the skills. How are you using these skills? And what are you doing with these? I kept pushing a little bit. One girl finally says, she says, I don't know. This probably doesn't count, she says. But she says, I went out with a friend last Friday. Her parents are split up. They're going to get a divorce. I just thought it'd be good to spend some time with her. It's like, It counts. It works, yes. One by one, all the students had things that they wanted to say. You know, and one kid says, well, there's a kid in my math class nobody talks to, but I always talk to him. And anyway, I left that night going home, and my aha was that, oh my gosh, people are doing ministry all the time, but we've somehow not communicated to them that it counts. The needs are huge, especially as we have experienced all the conflicts, all the COVID stuff, all the stresses, all the, well, you know, multiple suicides and all those kind of things. People need people who are close to them. You guys, I wonder what churches could look like if they were more invested in this methodology of passing on these repeatable, doable, livable skills, helping people recognize their importance just in everyday, everywhere, every relationship life. Brian McLaren says it well. He says the church, the main thing is about love. He says we sing about love, we preach love, we do Bible studies about love. Very seldom do we give people actual skills to love. Says it's kind of like going to a yoga class. And instead of doing yoga and having mats, we sat in rows and we listened to people sing about it and gave great speeches about the benefits of the downward dog and the upward cobra. But we never got around to doing yoga. His statement is that's probably what we're doing in the church, not giving people the skills that they need to know how to love their neighbor, and just those practical things of listening and caring and welcoming and knowing how to help. I wonder if by helping children, youth, adults, families learn to listen and care and help their neighbors in those daily interactions, if somehow they would understand ministry I sometimes use the word micro world rather than thinking that ministry is always this macro world. But it becomes owned, it becomes heartfelt, it becomes doable ministry, not just something that's way out there and seems hopeless, but that it's very personal and very next. I wonder if our present delivery system of our trainings with peer ministry leadership needs to be expanded. I wonder if some ways we've limited our growth in what we've done. And I'd like to invite people to talk about how else can this be done. I wonder how PML becomes more of an us, rather than me, because so much has been me, especially as COVID has hit and we've had fewer opportunities these last 2 years to use trainers and other people. I wonder if there's better ways to partner with churches or judiciaries, or I wonder what that would look like. I wonder if those groups need to become centers of training, that they have their own trainers that can reach out to people in their area, in their denominations, in their synods, their diocesan areas. Just a couple times we've done agreements with groups that had really stellar trainers to license them. And I want to imagine how do we move beyond being an organization that's seen as something that sells resources and sells trainings to something that really is more of a partnership. Well, that's enough. That'll get you thinking and wondering a little bit. And I look forward to seeing you on the 28th. And it'll be a whirlwind and it should be fun. Thanks so much. Blessings. Cheers.